Warner Brothers and DC Comics have made a name for themselves releasing full-length animated feature films direct to DVD and Blu-ray. Superman Batman Public Enemies is the latest in this long line of successful animated films. From executive producer Bruce Timm and voiced by the cast from both the hit Batman and Superman animated TV series, including Kevin Conroy, Tim Daly, and Clancy Brown, this original animated movie is based on Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness's popular graphic novel and seized with political intrigue and action-packed battles between heroes all believing they're on the right side of the law. In order to celebrate this release, Mattel is releasing special edition Infinite Heroes figures, calling them Superman Batman Public Enemies figures. Now, nowhere on these boxes do they say Infinite Heroes, but as a fan of 3 3/4 inch figures, I can tell you that these are indeed Infinite Heroes figures. There are 2 different 3-packs and 1 6-pack that will be released in this line. And today we're looking at the 6-pack with Superman, Hawkman, Batman, Major Force, Gorilla Grodd, and President Luthor. Superman has been released a couple times before as an Infinite Heroes figure, but unlike those figures, this one features the new articulation style that Mattel is bringing to the Infinite Heroes line. This new articulation allows him to move his wrists and his ankles, and his hips and arms move in ways that the other figures couldn't. Also, if you look at the sculpt itself, it has been redefined. His face is a little thinner, his arms leaner, his body mass is not quite as big, and he looks more like a muscular human being, whereas the old figures had this big, blocky, overly muscled figure style that was used in basically every male figure released in the line. So, this new Superman emerges not only as just a great sculpt of Superman, but an example of the new articulation that is coming to the Infinite Heroes releases. Now, Batman's been around the block a time or two in the Infinite Heroes universe, and yet the new articulation and new sculpts allows them to create a character that looks completely different from the figures that came before. You can see that his body type again is leaner, and yet appears somewhat more muscular because it's more realistic. And the new articulation allows Batman to be bent in, well, just about any pose you can think of, no matter how ludicrous. Now, if you're looking for any drawback from these new style of figures, I guess you could say that the articulation allows them to be posed in such a way that it's easy to knock them off balance. So, if you're going to want to pose them in some of these crazy shapes, figure stands are a must. Now, Hawkman is a repaint of the previously released Infinite Heroes Hawkman figure that was part of the 3-pack that came out last year. So if you bought that 3-pack, you already have this Hawkman, though he has been repainted to look the same way he does in the animated feature. For completists like me, you're still going to have him for your collection anyway. And for people who missed out on that 3-pack, they are releasing those warriors in single-carded packs, so now you can rebuild that 3-pack yourself, even if you missed out on it the first time around. And for the first time in history, Lex Luthor is a recycler. His head is the same head we've seen before on the previous Lex Luthor releases, and this time his body comes from the Question. The classic Question body has been repainted to look like Lex Luthor's presidential suit. So this figure is 100% recycled, original articulation Infinite Heroes. Now, one character that does get an original sculpt is Gorilla Grodd. This is not the same gorilla body we saw as part of the Mala's Revenge box set. This is completely new to this box set. And I have to say, it's a pretty nice sculpt for a gorilla who walks around like a dude. Now, because of the anatomy of a gorilla, the figure does have some funky articulation that makes it difficult to pose him in certain ways, but you know what? As for gorilla sculpts, this is probably among the best. And finally, we have Major Force. Often considered a B-list character who never got a whole lot of attention, he gets his due in Superman Batman Public Enemies and gets released as a very nice new articulation Infinite Heroes figure. Now, for a lot of you, you're going to have no idea who this guy is, but the fact that he does have the new articulation makes him a very nice figure, and one you're definitely going to want in your collection. Now, here's the question most fans have to ask themselves. Do you buy the 6-pack, or do you buy the 2 3-packs? Either way, you're going to get your Batman and Superman with the new articulation that you want. If you get the 3-packs, you get some other figures that haven't been available, and if you get this 6-pack, you get some new figures that haven't been available. Here's the best idea. Buy them all. You get an extra Superman and Batman, and you can trade them with your buddies, or you can have that backup. You know, a toy for downstairs and a toy for upstairs. That way you're never without Superman or Batman, even if they are public enemies.